So I've just come back from Peel Island and the black tyre doesn't feel great, so it looks like we picked up this fella here.
Yeah.
And
This one here.
This one here, and it's making the tyre go down.
For sure.
So we need to do something about it, or else we're going nowhere. Oh yeah, look at that, it's a screw. Oh god. Oh, now the tyre is going down. Wow. That's nasty. Golly, why are you making it bigger?
Get the repair.
So it's creeping up. We think we've ventilated it with the bung thing. And this is Mark, another friendly biker who's just stopped and making sure we don't need anything from the garage, which is very, very kind of him. He lives locally, so he's given us some advice about where to find a new tyre as we go on our way. But we plugged the hole. It was a screw that had gone in and just basically punctured the rubber of the tyre. And we've used the emergency repair kit and we bunged the hole with rubber and various different stuff. And now we're reinflating. And well, it looks like it's alright, which is great. Amazing, isn't it?
As you may know by now, we've done the coast trip in stages. The first stage was 2 nights and 3 days and was covered by episodes 1 to 3. Nice and simple. The second stage was also 2 nights and 3 days out. Episode 4 covered day 4, but we were getting a bit more serious about it, and day 5 got 2 episodes and day 6 got 3. By the third stage we were on a mission and hatched a plan to do the rest of the south coast and get as far as we could in a week. Not able to afford guest houses and hotels, we resorted to camping, and it was April. Our daughter said we wouldn't do it, which made us more determined. We did 8 nights on the trot under canvas and got as far as Lincolnshire on the east coast. We produced 18 videos from this stage. On stage 4, we completed the rest of the east coast up to the Scottish border. We had perfect weather, very cold, but amazing light, especially on the second day. My filming did a pretty good job of capturing it too. The only problem was we had to condense 4 days riding into 2 because of an incoming storm. We did record mileage of over 230 miles per day. It might not sound a lot, but the average speed was less than 30 miles an hour. At least we were back in hotels, and 12 videos covered this stage. You join us on the second day of stage 5, that started back on episode 41. We're back to camping, but we have a problem with our tent, a badly damaged pole, and we couldn't find a replacement for it today. Then we got a puncture. Although it's a very warm day, we see clouds gathering and a summer shower looks inevitable. We've lingered just a bit too long at places, and now it's 4 p.m. and we're getting weary and worried about the tyre holding up. And finally, we still have nowhere to stay. But hey, it's all part of the adventure and the ingredients for future memories. Join us to see where we end up.
Take a look at a map and you will see the Furness Peninsula is bookended by the rivers Duddon and Leven, and just further on is the River Kent that meets the sea at Morecambe Bay. They are all relatively short, with their sources not far away in the Lake District. Here we are making our way around the Leven that starts at Lake Windermere. The railway would be a much quicker and, dare I say, more scenic way to cross the Leven because there is a bridge much nearer the sea. In the earlier episodes, there were 5 vehicle river ferries that not only saved time but added a sense of adventure. Back then, we didn't fully appreciate how rare these are. In fact, I only know of another 3. One is on the Isle of Wight, Another is in Norfolk, but is actually upstream from the bridge we crossed, and the last one is only 18 miles from here and it crosses Lake Windermere. A river ferry is simply not able to operate here because of the tidal ranges on England's west coast. The sea goes a long way out and a long way back in, roughly twice a day. What this means is at low tides it is possible to cross some estuaries on foot and even sometimes in a suitable vehicle. However, if you don't know what you're doing, it is extremely dangerous.
Oh, down to the bay.
Lovely.
Wow, look. So, oh, did we just... Oh,
There's the
and
canal.
there. Yeah, there's the canal. Oh, signets on it. Oh, love them. 3 little signets. Fishermen.
The Ulverston Ship Canal is 1¼ miles long and connects the town of Ulverston with Morecambe Bay. The waterway, which is entirely straight and on a single level, is isolated from the rest of the UK canal network. It was built in the 18th century to connect the town's port to the sea. This was the only lock on the canal and was used at high tides to allow ships access to and from the sea. It has been sealed up since the canal fell into disuse in the 1940s.
Loving that railway bridge. Yes, all concreted up now. You thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah, I am. What do you think?
Well, it doesn't say accommodation, but I think we should ask.
Next to the canal overlooking the Leven estuary was the Bay Horse Hotel. It was a fantastic location and we were hoping that they would have a room for the night, but alas they didn't, so we had to press on. We then tried the Ruslan Pool, but decided to give it a miss, and made the effort to ride the short distance to Booth, where the delightful Old White Hart Inn welcomed us.
There we go. That'll be the White Hart Inn.
Yeah.
So you say you booked the room?
No, we didn't book it because
booked it.
we wanted to make sure. So should we just do it directly with you, or do you want us to go back online?
You can do it here. I'll just go and get some.
The next morning we had a hearty breakfast in what felt like a medieval banqueting hall before we set off for the day.
Got to put a few lashings of butter on your toast.
Come on.
Oh yeah. Switched on. Hello?
Hello. Good.
So that was Booth. Lovely little village.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, in the foothills of the Lake District. Not too far from the coast. Stayed at the White Hart. Brilliant, independently run pub. A lot of character there, wasn't there?
Oh yeah.
And a lot of characters.
Yeah. I think it was 17th century in. Lots of old lovely beams and rickety staircases. Delicious breakfast, which is always important, whatever time of day you have it.
And it was fantastic value.
It
Really,
was actually.
really good.
Yeah.
So we just rocked up, didn't we? We did see that they had a room on booking.com. We rocked up and made sure we had motorcycle parking, and they were serving food yesterday evening, and it was £70.
Yeah.
Which can't complain about that.
Bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a nice, clean, well presented room.
Yeah. Ensuite.
Ensuite.
With tea and coffee and nice cookies.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was a nice end to yesterday, because we had quite a day yesterday, didn't we? We woke up to realise that we'd broken a tent pole in the night and we couldn't use our tent, and then late in the day we picked up a puncture.
Yeah.
Which was obviously a bit of a setback.
And it was Sunday, so we couldn't buy a new tent pole.
No.
Because shops were shut. We were a bit concerned about the tyre, because obviously motorcycle shops would be shut. So, but everything was good in the end. We didn't need the tent pole and we didn't need a new tyre.
No.
Thankfully.
Okay.
Oh, and also yesterday it was a bit of a day, wasn't it? We had rain, not much of it, but it did hammer down, and all the tablet and the phone and everything, we lost our way on the maps, didn't we?
Oh, we went
that
round
all
in
disappeared
circle in Ulverston.
And we were worried about the tyre, because at that point, that was when it was going down, and we were thinking, well, no, it wasn't going down, but we were worried it was.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel right, and it was pouring with rain. We were trying to find a garage to get under shelter. We hadn't got our waterproofs on, because we thought, oh, it's only going to be a quick shower, which it was, but it was enough to make us pretty wet. And then we did find a garage, didn't we? And the tyre pressure was okay, but it was a bit too much, wasn't it?
It was a bit too high. After I'd done the repair, I put a little bit too much air in, and that's why it wasn't feeling quite right.
Yeah, you just knew instinctively it didn't feel right, didn't you?
And it was because I obviously wanted to put as much air in as I could when I did the repair, and I ended up actually putting about 5 psi more than I needed to. And then when I got back out on the ride, it felt a little bit odd again, and I thought, oh, okay.
No, yeah.
Was it going down again? It wasn't going down, it was too overinflated. And that's why it felt that way, and it feels great now.
We've checked it again this morning, haven't we? Just
pressure,
as you have.
Yeah, pressure,
and the pressure's still up, so thankful for that. So yeah, we're off again, heading back to the coast, because we can't see the sea at the minute, so we need to get back there.
Absolutely. And at the risk of attracting the criticism of some of you out there, we've made the decision.
You have.
I have.
I got mine on.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that. Yeah, okay. Well, I can cover both things, can't I? Yeah.
Go on.
I made the decision not to wear my jacket, which is something that I'll often do this time of year. And it's all in context, really. We're on lanes, doing speeds barely more than we'd be doing if we were riding a pedal cycle, really. And so it's not night time, we're not on major roads, and ultimately I've just made that decision for me.
Knowing the risks.
Yeah, and
because of course I'd rather he did wear his jacket, but then I'm not going to turn into a nag, because he knows the risks.
Yeah. And it's just so hot. It might not look like it, but it's very humid today.
It's very hot.
We've just gone into some shade, so it's a bit cooler now. But it is just so hot, and I get very, very uncomfortable when I'm wearing a jacket. But I will try and buy a summer jacket. We're thinking about buying one later today.
Yeah.
Not that the jacket I've got is a winter jacket, but it's still padded, and you can't take the padding out of it.
And there's no vents in it either, is there?
And there's no vents, so it does get very, very sweaty, very uncomfortable, and I get grumpy.
Yeah.
And the other thing I've made the decision about is the tyre at the moment. So we're not on major roads, we're basically poodling along these roads. It's held, the repair that we've done is held, and knowing what the issue was with it, I know that the tyre itself, its construction, the integrity is still good.
Yeah.
It's not been compromised by the small hole caused by the screw that went into it, and that has now been plugged and holding air. I think the worst comes to the worst is that repair will fail and we'll get another slow deflation, which is what we were getting before with the screw in it. It was a slow deflation.
Yeah.
And we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah, keep monitoring the pressure.
Just keep monitoring the pressure.
Yeah, it'd be different if we were heading back down on a motorway or something at high speed.
Yeah.
We wouldn't. Yeah, that would be silly, but. I believe we're coming into, or we are in Grange-over-Sands.
The far end of it, the northern end of Grange-over-Sands, called Kent's Bank. And we've been here before. We've stayed at a place just down here, on the left, I think, or maybe it's on the right. Can't remember.
I think it's on the right.
Yeah.
Let's see who's right.
And there's a railway here, isn't there? And a railway station.
Is it up there? Yeah, it's up there, isn't it? Although there was no signs. Maybe it doesn't exist anymore. Here's the railway.
I think it's round here on the left, actually. There's the railway. Kent's Bank.
And that's Morecambe Bay out there.
Yes, Morecambe Bay. We get very similar high and low tides here that we do on the Severn estuary. The sea goes out a long, long way. So far that it's possible to walk out a few miles, and it's actually possible, I believe, to walk from one side of Morecambe. Well, it is possible to walk from one side of Morecambe Bay to the other. And it's a byway, an ancient byway, but you've got to know what you're doing, because even at low tide you can't just go anywhere, because you'll hit quicksand. And there's a marked trail, but even then you really do need a guide to make sure that you're going along the right path. And then of course is the Cockle Collectors tragedy, 2004 February, when 21 people, Chinese illegal migrants that had been put to work by a gangmaster, a Chinese gangmaster, sent them out to collect cockles from the bay.
Yeah, didn't know anything about the bay.
Yeah, spoke very little English, didn't know anything about the bay.
And the tides and the sands.
The tides and the danger.
Tragic.
On that fateful night, many of the local cocklers decided to stay home because of unpredictable weather and tides. Those that did venture out saw the Chinese cocklers and tried to warn them when it was time to return. Shortly afterwards, they became aware the tide had surrounded them. In the dark, the freezing cold, fast-moving waters were treacherous. Miraculously, 15 managed to make it back to shore. The others frantically phoned 999 and even family in China. Emergency services responded, but despite their best efforts, they were only able to rescue one that had found an outcrop of rock a mile out to sea. At 9:30 p.m, the police did manage to make contact with one of the trapped cocklers, but all they could make out was a drowning man's last desperate pleas for help.
Hello, this is the police. Where are you? Chicken Walker! Chicken Walker! Hello? Chicken Walker! Hello?